Okay, we're back here and we're moving our way through some elementary items within Python, right? And so before we put in some data, we put in this account balance of $1,500. And I'm starting fresh here. I've got a brand new console. Haven't put anything in it yet. You can see down here, I've got no variables here, and I've got a brand new script. So what I want to talk about is standard operators to manipulate data. So you can use what you have grown up with as standard operators to manipulate your data. These standard operators will be very familiar to you, right? We see a plus sign. Well, whenever you see a plus sign, that's for addition. If you see a minus sign, that's for subtraction. When you see a star, that is for multiplication. And whenever you see this, a slash, that is for division. Those are pretty, you have an understanding of those four operators, and if you've done anything in Excel, those are the same operators that you would end up using. You also are probably somewhat familiar with a double star. That is for an exponent. So that to the power of whatever. One that I didn't really know about, and it's an interesting one, I don't know if I'd ever use it, is this. And that is for a modulo. Well, what's a modulo? Well, that's the remainder. So if I'm doing a division, one number by divided by another number, and I just want to know what is the remainder if it didn't divide equally. If it did divide equally, then the modulo would be 0. If it didn't divide equally, what is the remainder? What is left over? What didn't divide in? So that was something I didn't really know about. I don't know why I would ever need it, but I thought I would show it to you in case you came across it one day. Also, when you're looking at standard operators, the order of operations is critical, just like anything else. And also zoom in on this a couple of ways so you can get a better read on this. It's critical. So the first thing that gets managed or dealt with is anything that is in parentheses. The parentheses are first. After the parentheses, then exponents. Are second. And then it goes multiplication, division, and the modulo. Are third. And finally, addition and subtraction are last, right? So make sure you understand those order of operations. So let's put this into work. So let's set up our account balance again. We'll keep it the same, 1,500. And we know what type it's going to be. It's going to be a float, right? So now and I'm not going to put in type. We're going to see that in the variable explorer up here. So now let's put in, and let's define a new variable. We'll call it adjusted account balance. And we want this to be the account balance plus another 1,500. All right, so here we're going to run this line. We have our new variable. Now we're going to run adjusted account balance, a new variable. And now we have a new variable. Again, it's only one because it's a single number. Float, 1,500, and now we've made it 3,000. Well, let's now take, let's make a different, we'll keep going. Maybe I'll do it adjustment 1 account balance. So we're going to create a new account balance. It's going to be the account balance. And we want the remainder after I divide by 21. Let's see what this looks like. So if we do the math, and I'm going to do the math here pretty quickly, I expect it to be, I don't know, I think it's 9. I think that's what it comes out to. But let's run it and see what it comes out to. So we're going to do this, run the modulo, and it's 9, right? So that's after I evenly divide 21 through, what am I left over? What's left over? And it's 9 is the modulo. So, okay, that's, I don't know why that's interesting, but that's something new. Let's do another one. Let's try adjusted 2 account balance. And we want that to equal the, well, I'm going to put this in parentheses, account balance to the exponent of 3, and then we're going to divide by 5. All right, let's see what that looks like. All right, that's a pretty big number. Now, if I did my parentheses a little bit differently, what if I ended up putting adjusted 3 like that? Well, that's going to be a completely different number, right? Because I'm first of all going to do whatever's in the parentheses, so it's going to be to the power of 3/5, not the way it's currently stated. If I got rid of the parentheses completely, the first thing it would do is it would do the exponent and then it would divide. If I put my parentheses here, it's going to do this division first and then it's going to do the exponent. And it gives me 80.47. So knowing where the parentheses are makes a difference in the way you do things. All right. So we can see all of the inputs here. I know what the values are by looking at my variable explorer in Spider. If you wanted to see what the outputs were like, you'd have to type in account balance at the end of each one of these, or adjusted account balance 1, adjusted 2, adjusted 3, etc., etc.